What's up, everybody? It's been a minute. Um, Sorry I haven't posted in a while. A lot of cool, crazy stuff has happened. That's the fun thing about all this, right? You get that variable interval reinforcement that I was so stringent about. So yeah, let's get right back into it, right? So today, um, I wanted to talk about. Oh, what was I doing last time I was on here? I don't even remember. Holy cow. Today I wanted to talk about houses. Houses and gardens. So let me explain. Um, when I was little, my mom used to really love taking our family on like surprise outings and like surprise trips. Um, and a big one would be gardens a lot of the time, botanical gardens. Now, I I used to really hate that. I used to really hate going to botanical gardens. Part of it was, like when my mom would do surprises for our family, like we didn't tend to have a say in it or like any influence about it. So it was something where like if we, ended up going somewhere we didn't want to go, you know, sucks to suck, right? But that didn't really bug me so much because the way that I would rationalize it is a lot of people don't even get to do stuff with like with their family. They don't. A lot of people don't get to do that stuff with their family. And like it was honestly a privilege. But the thing that really bothered me about botanical gardens in general is that they'd always be around like some rich old dude's house. Like it would be like some dude's house who's like, this was a crazy inventor who really liked having gardens, and these are his gardens, and we kept them around and we made them stay pretty because he's dead now. I always really hated it because I always thought, um, that'll never be me. Like, I will never have a beautiful house like this. I will never have a beautiful garden like this. I will never have these rich, deep relationships where I feel fulfilled. I used to feel that way as a kid. And I'm here to tell you guys today that that's just not true. You guys ever hear that Radiohead song, "Let Down"? You probably have. If you don't think you have, you probably have. In that song, the singer goes, "Such a pretty house and such a pretty garden. No one." Oh wait, is that no? Yeah, it's not. Okay, so it's not Let Down. It's No Surprises. Sorry, I had the wrong song. But it's from the Radiohead song "No Surprises." And in "No Surprises," like the singer's like kind of like almost like lamenting their life, and in one of the basically like one of the final verses, he sings like that lyric specifically, and it used to always strike me as like, wow, this dude really relates. Like he gets it. Like he's like looking at these other people with their pretty houses and their pretty gardens, and you feel so hopeless and terrible because you think like, oh, I'm never gonna get there. Like it's just not possible for me. Um, but it does. It it happens. It actually can happen. Will it happen? That's up to you. Are you gonna keep trying? See, that song, no surprises, no alarms and no surprises. It's supposed to be this song about how the guy is, taking his own life. Where he's basically saying like, I will never again have any alarms to wake up to. I'll never again have any surprises that are bad. Like, this is it. Like, I'm done. Um, and so I always thought the song like was inherently really sad. But then if you think about like if you look at the lyrics and kind of cut out the the parts about the suicide, what the guy is saying is actually like a really nice life. Like a life without having to wake up to alarms, a life without having to wake up to like crazy ass fucking surprises you don't want to deal with. And like, you live in a really nice house with a pretty garden, like with a life full of connections that are fulfilling and people around you. And, that's what's really interesting about the song to me is the pretty house and the pretty garden. They're fantasies until they're not, and that's the thing that really fucks with me about this whole situation I'm kind of here to tell you today is, you know, last episode I talked to you guys about variable interval reinforcement and how that's a driving force for humanity. I think that's the greatest driving force in humanity is the fact that, every time you do something you're not always going to get a reward, right? Is like that general concept. And so many people get lost by the wayside in their pursuit of love. You know, it's hard to find good friends, right? It's real difficult, but you can do it. If you really look, you will be able to find people you resonate with pretty much no matter what. If you have to go out of your way and try, right? And it's part of that variable, interval reinforcement. It's just another example of that in, in I guess cognitive behavior or whatever. Well, so many people get discouraged that way in love. And I think it's very different for a lot of people because, a lot of people, people love in different ways. People want different things from their potential partner. Or, if you're poly, I guess partners. I don't know about all that, but And basically, I'm here to say like, keep gambling, keep gambling, because you 99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big, guys. It's a joke, but it's really not a joke. You know, you want to talk about that 1%. Well, how do you get into the 1%? How do you get like let's just talk wealthiest Americans. How do you get into the 1% um, of wealth? If you're not born into that, how do you do that? And I'm just here to say keep fucking gambling. And I don't mean like, literal gambling. I mean like just keep trying, keep taking that gamble every day of making that choice of knowing like, okay, life isn't the best right now. It sucks. Like I don't really want to keep putting my effort into this. I don't want to keep putting my resources into life. I don't want to keep doing this shit over and over. I'm tired, I'm weary, whatever it is. And again, there's nothing wrong with, having an off day, having an off week, fuck it, having an off month, having an off 6 months. Well, you can't let yourself be broken down for years. Like I think years is too long. I think how do I put this? Like you got to get back in the saddle eventually. And this is going for everything specifically. This isn't going specifically for love because if you're a person who realizes like, you know what, I'm better off without a romantic partner, like that's you. That's all you. Like I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I think basically everybody wants that, a romantic partner. almost everybody that I know wants a loving romantic partner, and a lot of people, especially people very near and dear to me, I hear so often, like, when is this gonna happen? Like, is it gonna happen? And I can't guarantee you anything. You know, um, I can't guarantee that once find someone who is a romantic partner or romantic interest, that everything's gonna go well, be hunky dory, be perfect, and exactly what you want. But that's also part of it, is having standards. Such a pretty house and such a pretty garden. How does a house become pretty? How does a garden become pretty? It has standards, it has upkeep, it has maintenance, it requires attention, it requires decision, it requires action, right? Like, if you don't take care of a house, if you don't perform maintenance on a house, it's gonna fall the fuck apart, right? If you don't have some sort of like standard that you're holding it to. And so this is where I used to get tripped up. I used to think that unconditional love meant that, like, there's absolutely no standard and that someone will love you no matter what. That's, I don't think that's healthy looking back on that. It's like, how do I put this? Unconditional love does exist, but you should be prepared to meet conditions initially. Like, if you have a partner, like, you've been with for years, and like, you guys know each other inside and out, and like, there's an issue that you have that you can't really fix. It's one thing to deal with that, because it's like, okay, maybe it's like an illness, or maybe it's just like a bad habit you can't get rid of, like, whatever. Like, that's something that you guys might be used to at that point. But when you're meeting new people and getting into new relationships, they are absolutely allowed to and should have standards for not just themselves but you, right? So don't go and get caught thinking that unconditional love doesn't exist just because people have standards at first. Like, people have expectations of you at first. It's also another thing if the people around you are giving you unrealistic expectations, right? But I think a good partner, a good romantic partner, will, come to you with expectations that are very realistic and healthy. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's possible. All right? I'm here to tell you that the house and the pretty garden and the love of your life, they're all waiting out there for you. The fucking world is your oyster, all right? And so this is where free will comes in. I'm not a big free will guy. I gotta keep it a buck 50. I really don't think it actually exists, to be honest with you. But I have been fortunate enough, through the lens of determinism, to have been given a situation in life where I can share my implicit hope with others, right? Like, maybe this is never to be your choice. Maybe this video found you. Maybe you didn't find this video at all. Maybe this video found you and you needed to hear these words. Is that, how do I put it? How do I put this? It's very hard for me to say. Oh, it's so difficult to find the words right now. Please excuse me. If your hope to continue is not even a matter of your own free will, then let me be a deciding factor for your determinism. Let me tell you right now, outright, wholeheartedly, that what you want is possible as long as you're willing to work for it. I wake up every day with a life where I thank my lucky stars. And it is in big part thanks to my romantic partner. And it kind of goes to that old saying where it's like luck is where opportunity meets preparation. I might die. I might actually die. I might actually die. Hold on, I gotta lock in. Basically, when it comes to these really big changes in life that people are searching for, like where it's their dream car, their dream job, you know, their dream Pokemon card, even. Like a lot of people have it as an ideal, but they don't think it's actually possible. If it is an ideal that is within the realms of like if you have something that you desire that is like actually feasibly possible, even if it is would be really 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 hard or difficult, just fucking go for it, dude. Oh no, no, no. I'm actually gonna die. I'm actually gonna die. Holy fuck. Fuck that shit. I'm not dealing with that. Not right now. Fuck no. I hate phantoms, bro. They're the dumbest. They're actually the dumbest thing they ever put in this game. I should have killed those sheep to make a bed. Oh fuck. But yeah, I'm making this video because a lot of people in my life I've seen like don't think that their dreams can become true simply because they're so demanding or difficult. And I don't think that's being fair to yourself. I think like that is a defeatist mentality. I think if you are like, obviously, there's nothing wrong with getting frustrated and feeling like, you know, and like having those off days or wanting to take breaks when it's like you're in pursuit of something of like that you want, like where you're gonna be like, okay, fuck this, like I don't want to deal with this right now. Like I don't think I can do this right now. Like that's fine. It's always good. It's always good to like. There's nothing wrong with walking away from something for a little while. Like what I've noticed with my current romantic partner and I is, you know, it, it, it's got, how do I put this? We will walk away from each other sometimes. Like we will be a little bit avoidant. Like if we, you know, if we have like a little bit of a spat or an argument or a disagreement, like we won't avoid each other. Like we won't be avoidant of each other, but we'll just kind of like go in separate rooms or like go on our phones and like just take a little bit of time for ourselves so that we can come back, you know, with clear heads and like just discuss and like figure out what's going on, figure out our emotions. And like it you can do that in any in pretty much any scenario with like a long-term goal. If you have a long-term goals, you can take the time to like step away and reorient, but don't just avoid them. Don't go into full avoidance and run away and, you know, give up on, you know, what could be possible. What I'm saying is like I used to I used to genuinely think that I would never have such an amazing partner. So loving, so caring, so attentive, so intelligent, so beautiful. And yet, you know, here we are. And you know, that's kind of a big reason why I started this series. Is like a big thing about this whole series is that I I was having trouble with my romantic relationships. And so I was like I was kind of hopeless. I was exploring relationships as a resource or I guess as an investment, because that's what I felt like to people. I felt like all that I am to others is like some form of like investment. And like that's the only reason why people are nice to me or like hang out with me. And that's just not true. Like obviously relationships are an investment in some way, but it goes back to what I was kind of like saying, or I guess I had kind of realized for myself, is that that's not all that they are. And it's just been so incredibly amazing and reassuring to find someone who acknowledges that our relationship is an investment and takes that level of care towards it. Like I'm not the only one who's acknowledged that, we are investing our time here, and like you'll meet so many people who like kind of implicitly understand that their relationships are investments, but then they don't treat them as such. Like they will be very wasteful or thoughtless with their relationships, and it's like being thoughtless with like an investment. Like being careless with your relationships with people is a very bad idea, because you don't know what kind of investment you're trampling on. You know, like you got to be really careful with people, because you never know what kind of investment or investor you're dealing with. It's in your best interest to tread lightly when it comes to people. Like I think of that scene in Breaking Bad all the time where like Walter tells Hank to tread lightly. And it's not because, oh, le badass Walter's so cool. It's the truth behind it. It's the truth that like sometimes you really have no idea who you're fucking with. And so ascribe that value to yourself. Like, oh, I forgot I had a chicken hole. You should be, just as much as you should be careful in how you interact with others, because you don't, know the value that's there or that could be there. You should make sure that other people are the same way towards you. Like you need to have standards for yourself. I dated so many people that I really didn't fucking like that all that much, because I essentially settled. I completely settled. I was like, you know what? I don't really like this person completely all that much, but like everybody has their flaws, and like, how much better can it get, right? And while it's that's a lot of a logical fallacy, because it's true that everybody has their flaws, but that idea of, oh, how much better can it get? It can always get better. Just like that whole thing where, I refute that thing of like, oh, hell is other people, so heaven can be other people too, right? Well, I I refute that it can always be worse. It can always be better, right? It can always be better until finally it's not, until you reach that state of perfection, right? And so perfection is just an idea, perfection is just a concept. So if you can meet that concept in your mind, you have met with perfect, you have achieved perfection. You can actualize your idea of what perfection is, you have created it. If you can create a situation or a relationship or a piece of art or a house or a build in Minecraft that you think is perfect, that means it is. something, it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Perfection is in the eye of the beholder. And so don't fucking settle. Don't fucking settle. If you have a dream and you know what that dream looks like, why the fuck would that pursuit ever stop until you're there? And I kept getting off early. I kept getting off the train early, you know? I kept stopping early. I kept being like, you know what? Yeah, this is good enough for me. Yeah, I'll date this person for XYZ amount of time because, you know, they're good enough. No. Find that person who's perfect for you. Find that person who's perfect for you. My friends they've always been perfect. My friends have always been perfect because they're good to me. I have perfect friends. You know, if they're not good to other people, maybe this may muddle our little idea of perfection. That's, you know, neither here nor there. You get to decide what metric and what standard you set for your friends. And so if it's that way for your friends, why the fuck can't it be that way for your romantic partner? So don't settle. Do not stop chasing that fucking dream. Like, if you want to be in the NBA, don't just get to like college ball and then be like, all right, you know what? I made it to college ball. Like, that's more than most people can say. No, you wanted to go to the NBA. And if you made it to college ball, you can keep pushing. Like, when you should be looking at the steps that you take towards your goals all the time. You should be giving yourself credit for that all the fucking time. You should be thinking about that like as much as you possibly can. Because you not only do you deserve that, but you need that. You need to remember how hard you have worked. Because God forbid, even if you don't achieve your goal, you should still be able to take solace in the fact that you tried. And that's all you should be really doing. I took that one too early. Like, man, I love Juice WRLD, but I think he's really wrong, man, about that thing where like he says, he has this quote where it's like, life is all about, you know, finding out who you are and then, you know, dying peacefully in your sleep. No, bro. Life isn't just about finding who you are. Life is about so much more. I think I said in the last video that the next video would probably be about the meaning of life. I used to have a video on this channel about what the meaning of life is. And I'll probably really get into like the reasoning and like definitions behind that eventually. Long story short, like there's two different meanings to life. Number one is your meaning that you ascribe to it, right? Like it's whatever you truly want or like dream about. But number two is like the purpose that all living things have. And that's to make a better world, not just for ourselves, but for all living things. Like the reason we have differences in our genes and across all biology and all living things is so that we can appreciate and utilize those differences to make a stronger, smarter world for all living things. Like utopia is an idea that is collective. Utopia is not something that one person is to decide. And so if we should ever see a utopia in our world, in our lifetimes, you need to be a part of that. You need to not only find yourself, but you need to find your place in this world. You need to figure out who am I really, and how do I relate to the rest of this world? That's what life is really about. It's about being able to find yourself and find your peace and help others create it for themselves. That's what I think life is all about. That's what I really think life is about. And so that's why I make this series. Is as chuddy as it is, as fucking slow paced as it is, like if you're really willing to take the time to listen to little old me and the shit that I'm saying, like I should hope to impart some great hope in you, some of this quote unquote wisdom that has accumulated like sediment downstream within me. Because again, going back to that whole determinism thing, if life really is deterministic, I want to change the effective conditions that other people are under. And part of that is, helping people to understand like why they should actually hold hope for themselves and for a better future no matter what. Like I love Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, anime comes out of nowhere. If you guys don't know what Jujutsu Kaisen is, it's like a shonen anime, like manga, where this character Yuji finds like a cursed object that is imbued with the spirit of like an ancient cursed individual. And it gives him great power, but it unleashes the like ancient cursed individual to essentially like possess his body. And so a big theme, like recurring theme throughout the series is Yuji grappling with how inhumane the like cursed guy is like within him, and like how Yuji essentially is like always trying to push him towards redemption, and yet the evil guy who's possessing him constantly rejects it. And you in the end of the series, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but you end up seeing just how miserably pathetic that mentality is. That refusal of one's own humanity, of that capacity to change and become better and find a loving, accepting life. Such a pretty house and such a pretty garden. The name of the character that possesses Yuji in Jujutsu Kaisen, he's called Sukuna. And if you asked Sukuna if you could attain this life of dreams, I think he would say no. Like I think if you asked Sukuna if the world could be a wholly peaceful place where, everyone's dreams can kind of hopefully come true or have some capacity to come true, he would say no. He would say only the strongest can actualize their dreams. But that's just it. He would think about it in terms of physical strength. I agree. I agree that only the strongest in this world can make their dreams come true. But that matter is not a matter of physical strength. That matter is not a matter of financial strength. That matter is a matter of will, of how strong is your will to achieve your dream. How bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want it? If you have a dream that you are chasing to try and achieve, and you stop chasing that dream, I don't think you really wanted it. And a lot of people they'll fuss and they'll say, oh, I stopped for XYZ reason and blah, 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 blah. Nope. You just didn't want it bad enough. Because if you have a dream that is physically possible, that's something that you can actually do, and you stop chasing it, that's on you. You can say whatever reasoning, you can make whatever dispute. That is on you. It is your job to chase your dreams as long as they're possible. Nobody else can do that shit for you. Nobody's coming to save you in that regard. And honestly, it might sound harsh to some people. I think that's a really good thing. I think a big problem for so many people is thinking that their dreams aren't possible. I think you need to be looking at your dreams and saying, okay, this is going to be really fucking difficult. How are we going to get there? Making a plan. My dad used to tell me this story of a kid who got really mad and like did something bad or whatever. So his dad gave him a punishment and to go outside and like break all the twigs in the yard, like snack, sorry, snap all the twigs in the yard. And so the kid goes out and he grabs all the sticks together and he has them all in like a bundle and he's trying to break them over his knee all at once and they're just not working. And the dad comes out and he sees the kid getting even more mad and frustrated again, flipping the fuck out. And the dad's like, yo, what are you fucking doing? The kid's like, I'm breaking all the twigs like you told me. The dad's like, yeah, but why are you trying to break the whole bundle at once? And the kid's like, because I got to break all of them. And the dad's like, yeah, that's true. That's part of the punishment. But why don't you just break them one by one? And so the kid is kind of taken aback, but then he tries it. And of course, it obviously works. It's easier to snap a single twig, The journey, what is it, like a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and that you have to choose to make that step every day. If you want your dream to come true, you're gonna have to break all the twigs. And that shit takes a while, bro. It sucks and it takes a fucking while. But guess what? You can do it. I have a YouTube channel on here for a lot of reasons, right? But obviously one of them is the fucking 6-year-old, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be famous. Well, that's cute and all. But like that is like the byproduct of the work. I don't think people ever address this enough. Is when it comes to someone being truly famous, truly well known, there's usually something that they have done that is like very well regarded or influential to others, like that others can look back on and say like, yeah, like this actually affected me, this changed my view, this changed like the way I live. And so that's how I want to be. If one is to be truly an influencer, get to influencing, get to positively changing people's lives. And so that is what I'm reiterating over and over, fucking like a thought loop to you guys right now, is if your dreams are actionable, like there's something that that you can take a step towards it to get it done, just do it. That's why I'm making this video. How the fuck am I gonna get a YouTube video that has 1 million views someday? Well, I guess first step of that is making the fucking video. Oh, what's that? My video that I just uploaded didn't get 1 million views. Fuck. Well, guess I gotta make another video. You see what I'm saying? It's that variable interval reinforcement. If every time somebody made a video, even if it was influential and affected people in a positive way, if it got 1 million views, it wouldn't be a big deal at all, right? It would just be like, well, okay, you can upload anything, it'll be popular instantly. That's what makes like having like a quote unquote perfect partner or perfect relationship so incredible, is because it's rare, because you have to gamble for it. Essentially, you have to go through that variable interval reinforcement process of dating, of like, oh, I'm gonna try to court this person, and then oh, now we have become an official like romantic relationship, and oh, now we are continuing to court each other and learn each other, and oh, maybe I learned something about this person that I don't like, and oh, now oh, well, the quote unquote perfection is ruined. Well, there you go. I guess it's well. I guess it's time to go to the table again. It's time to gamble again. It's time to go through that interval reinforcement again. And so, I meet a lot of people where they get burned real bad. It's like when it's like real gambling, where if you were to go to the table and you're playing with your life savings, because this is another thing people don't talk about is you're gambling with your heart. And I can't blame people who have kind of walked away from the table, because I almost did. That's how, again, kind of how this series started is I got burned real bad. I moved across the fucking nation. I moved 14 hours away from everyone I know in my life for someone who didn't give a fuck about me. Like I was living alone, completely alone. Like no friends in real life, nobody around for the first time in my life for like 10 months, 8 months. And oh my god, it fucking sucked. But I'm here to tell you today, it was well fucking worth it. Because I'm from New Jersey, guys. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I've since moved out to Alabama, and that's a 14-hour drive from where I was. And yet, I found a girl from New York who was willing to move with me across the fucking country to Alabama just to be with me, because that's how much she actually cares. I I am so eternally grateful, because every lesson starts with L. All lessons start with L's. But the W's, they flip into the M's all by themselves. That's like that's a hard ass bar, right? I'm gonna use that bar in a song eventually. All lessons start with L's, but the W's flip into the M's all by themselves. Guys, you never really take a loss if you turn that L into a lesson. Your L's, they could be losses or they could be lessons. Which ones are they gonna be? I took my fucking lessons. I took my shit on the chin, and I learned about myself, and I learned about my flaws, and I learned about my standards and my expectations from a partner. And you know what? It was fucking well worth it. So get out there and keep gambling. Keep taking your fucking L's. Keep going to the table and losing. Keep trying over and over and over. Because eventually, statistically speaking, if you continue gambling, at some point, you have to win the jackpot. Now, the jackpot has very, very low odds, so it's gonna take you a lot of tries. But 99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. If you want to be that one percenter, you want to be a one percenter in America, you want to be a one percenter in your life of happiness, keep fucking pushing, bro. Just keep trying. Because I promise you, it is worth it. I promise you. I live a life today that I never thought to even be possible for me. And I wake up every day thankful for it. And I'm telling you that if you keep fighting through whatever you're going through right now, good or bad, you will be able to say the same for yourself someday. I don't know when. It might take a lot of days, it might take years. but someday you will get where you want to go. Someday you will get away from the bullshit that you are currently dealing with, and you will be somewhere you never even thought possible. And that's basically where I am today. You know, I can't say that every one of my last wants have been actualized or achieved, but I can tell you right now that my life feels pretty damn perfect. And that's thanks to viewers like you, huh, on that PBS shit. So thanks, guys. Curious Burger saying thanks. Thanking for watching. Me see you guys next episode where me talk about something me want to talk about to you. Okay, bye. City boy, city boy.